Paula, would you hit the record button, please?
Let's see. Okay, looks like it's time to start the meeting. So if we can have the welcome slide. Welcome to Morning Star, everybody. My name is Sara McFall, and I will be the facilitator today. We're glad that you're all here, and we hope that you will enjoy today's service and that you'll come back. Our speaker today is Sara Cunningham, and she's an author and activist. And she's going to speak about an experience that catapulted her into life-changing circumstances through her son. And I am going to read, as our opening prayer today, a prayer from Marianne Williamson's book, Illuminata, and it's her prayer for our children. Dear God, there are no words for the depth of my love for this child. I pray for their care and their protection. I surrender them into your hands. Please, dear God, send your angels to bless and surround them always. May they be protected from the darkness of our times. May they always see you at the center of their life. May their hearts grow strong to love you and serve you. I surrender, dear God, my parenthood to you. Make me the parent you want me to be. Show me how to love most patiently, to be there for them most fully, to understand profoundly who they are and what they need. May this family be a blessing unto them now and forever. May they learn here values and principles of love and righteousness. May they learn from me kindness. May they learn from me strength. May they learn from me the lessons of power, that they have it and they must surrender it to you to be used for your purposes throughout their life. For thus you shall be gladdened, and thus they shall be free, to live most fully and love most deeply. That is my wish. That is my prayer for them and for me forever. Amen. At this time, I would ask for Karen Marks as our reader to unmute herself and read our vision statement.
Our Sunday gathering is designed to provide a weekly encouragement to individually manifest our highest good and purpose in our lives. Inner direction is the key. We reinforce positive directions for our lives and the infinite potential within us. We seek connections to create an open atmosphere of acceptance of all backgrounds, races, and lifestyles. We come together in a spirit of inclusiveness, embracing all spiritual paths, honoring God in an atmosphere of unconditional love.
Thank you, Karen. And now's the time in our service where if we were together, we would be hugging if there was no COVID. However, because we are still together and there is COVID, we're going to be waving, we're going to be sending hugs to each other, and we're just going to let our hearts be full so we can see each other. Oh, It's really, really good to see everyone's faces. Thank you all for joining us today. And Frank is going to help us get settled into our spaces, because we're going to start with a chant, and we're going to get calm to lead us into the meditation that Mary will be doing after the chant. So Frank, if you will unmute and play our peace chant.
Search in your heart, take strength from the sun, reach out your hand, there is peace, peace in everyone. Search in your heart, take strength from the sun, reach out your hand, there is peace, peace in everyone. Search in your heart, take strength from the sun, reach out your hand, there is peace, peace in everyone. Search in your heart, take strength from the sun, reach out your hand, there is peace, peace in everyone. There is peace, peace in everyone.
And Mary Brule will now lead us in a meditation. So Mary, if you'll unmute yourself.
Yes. Good morning. I'm going to do a guided meditation this morning called Dropping the Suitcases of Worries and Regrets. And I'd like to begin by everybody just taking a moment to relax your body, soften any unnecessary tension in your belly and your shoulders, and find a position for you that feels relaxed and alert. And close your eyes or look downwards. Rest your hands what's comfortable for you. Take a few moments to scan your awareness throughout your body. Be aware of what sensations are in your body. And wherever possible, soften and release any physical tension. Be aware of your body breathing and your chest rising and following with each breath. Now imagine you're standing in the street outside of your house with two heavy suitcases. And know that one of those suitcases is full of worries about the future, and the other suitcase, know that it's full of regrets about the past. Take a moment standing there in the street, holding these heavy suitcases, and reflect about each one. Reflect about the future, how it will come on its own accord whenever it comes. And that most of what we worry about will never happen. Standing out there in the street, reflect about the past, the other heavy suitcase. Consider how the past cannot be changed. All we can do in the present is to learn from it and put in whatever corrections make sense and become more skillful, become a better person, and move on. Standing there in the street, feeling the weight of these suitcases and absorbing the wisdom of your own reflections right now. Make a conscious decision. Do you want to drop the suitcase of worry about the future? And if so, simply drop it. Then standing there in the street with the other suitcase so heavy about the past, make a conscious decision. Do you want to drop it? And if so, just drop it. Just drop it. And as soon as you have dropped the two suitcases, walk into your home and take your seat right where you are and plop down. So relaxed, like someone coming home from a long trip, dropping suitcases and just relaxing. Rested in the present, just breathing. Resting in the natural well-being of the parasympathetic nervous system. Resting in the fundamental well-being of awareness itself. Awareness which does not worry or regret. Resting as if this is meaningful for you. Allow yourself to simply rest, feeling a sense of peace, of joy, of well-being, a natural happiness, always your true home, without carrying heavy suitcases of worries about the future or full of regrets about the past. Simply rest here in your body right now with total relaxation throughout your body and mind. And so it is.
Thank you, Mary, for that meditation. It took me a little bit to come back. And thank you, Frank, for the chant. Thank you, Morning Star Band, for everything you continue to contribute so joyfully. We are very, very grateful today to have our speaker. Her name is Sara Cunningham, and the title of her talk is Free Mom Hugs. Sara is an author, activist, and founder of the nonprofit organization Free Mom Hugs. Her journey is a surprising one that began in conservative Oklahoma when her son Parker came out as gay. As a woman of faith, Sara wrestled with the news until she began to study, research, and reconcile the two worlds. This journey resulted in her book, how we sleep at night. She found herself on a journey from the church to the Pride Parade, falling in love with the LGBTQIA plus community. In the wake of beautiful glitter-covered hugs and heartbreaking horror stories, the mission of Free Mom Hugs began. Simple acts of love and acceptance turned into a viral sensation, and Sara knew she had the opportunity to lead impactful change. Free Mom Hugs is now a movement across the country and the world. Sara goes beyond the hug to educate and advocate organizations of all types, including schools and businesses, striving for safe and protected spaces. She's appeared many times with her son Parker on the Today Show and the RuPaul Show and spoke at the 2019 GLAAD Awards. She's also been featured in many national publications, including the Washington Post, Women's Day magazine, and People magazine. Sara is currently in partnership with Jamie Lee Curtis, who has purchased the rights to her book and will release a movie based on her story. That just brought me to tears. Okay. And there's an upcoming documentary about the Mama Bears movement by award-winning director Dorisha Kai. Also, it features Sara and Free Mom Hugs movement. So thank you, Sara Cunningham, so much for sharing with us. We're grateful.
Thank you for the invitation, and what an introduction. I don't know who wrote that, but we can just all go home now because that just told you everything. Well, good morning, Morning Star family. I feel so refreshed just in the very short amount of time that we've been together. And so just thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the platform, for just sharing my story. All of those titles that Sara mentioned, those were unexpected, accidentally put upon me, and nothing could have prepared me for the last 5 years of my life. I was born and raised in Oklahoma. I used to beg my mother to not let me be buried here because I thought it was boring, and now I couldn't imagine living anywhere else. We have 2 children. I'm married to my husband we're about to celebrate our 35th wedding anniversary, and we're stuck at home. That's okay. But so we grew up in evangelical, conservative, mainstream Oklahoma City. And when our children were young, we joined a local church that we could walk to from our home. And I didn't even pay attention to the denomination. I just was glad that we could walk there. The kids enjoyed going there. They were with their friends from school in the neighborhood. And it just seemed like the perfect recipe for our family because it was a hub of activity. You voted there. The basement served as a tornado shelter in severe weather. And we really thrived, and we served there for the better part of 20 years. And I loved the fellowship of believers. I loved serving the community where we live. I loved participating with the faith and learning about Holy Scriptures and the great divine and love and just all the spiritual gifts. I believe in pictures and illustrations that point to something greater than we are. And I believe that we are all gifted and in ways to serve each other, to serve humanity. And I've always believed this way. What happened when our youngest son came out to us, everything that I had learned about our spirit, my being a woman of faith, I had to re-examine all of those things because when our son came out to us, I had absorbed this idea that homosexuality is wrong, unforgivable, that my son was going to hell. Now, you can imagine I was just frozen in my fear. I thought if my son's going to hell for being gay, then I need to fight for him like my hair's on fire. And I burned the sage, I prayed the gay away. I considered conversion therapy because you have to understand, I thought I was saving him from the depths of hell. That journey I didn't know where to look for faith-based resources. When I tried to share with our church family and our peers, they just simply did not know how to minister to us. I needed to hear from someone who shared my faith that it's all right to search this matter out, because when I did, I got educated on things like the history of human sexuality, on science and evidence and testimonies from gay Christians that convinced me that I don't believe that homosexuality is a sin. I believe that it is a beautiful gift from God, a beautiful expression of human sexuality that is to be celebrated as an important part of our history and our future. Now, that journey didn't happen overnight. When my son came out of his closet, I had to go into mine. And I wrote a book about it. It's a self-published book titled How We Sleep at Night, a Mother's Memoir. And it's just how I got through it. I'm not a scholar or a theologian. And this was in 2014. In 2015, I stood with our son at the Oklahoma City Pride Festival, and I met a beautiful, spirit-filled community. In 2015, I made a homemade button. And with anyone who made eye contact with me, I'd say, could I offer you a free mom hug or high five? Now, from that experience, I started the nonprofit Free Mom Hugs. The first hug I gave that day was from a beautiful young woman who said it had been 4 years since she got a hug from her mother because she's gay. I met people living out of their car because they've been alienated from their families, from their church homes. And here I thought I was the only mom with a gay kid in Oklahoma with these crazy thoughts running through my head. And so I knew that we had to have this conversation. And so I started talking about it like my hair was on fire. I also learned that my straight son has more rights than my gay son. So I started meeting couples, and they would ask me to officiate their wedding. And I do consider same-sex marriage as holy. But through meeting these couples, they would say their family refused to come to the wedding or even acknowledge the relationship. So out of frustration, I made a social media post that said, look, if your biological mom won't come to your same-sex wedding, then you call me, I'll be there. And see, with my hand up in the air, and I said, I'll be there. I'll be your biggest fan. I'll even bring the bubbles. Now, I meant the bubbles that you blow in the air, but I'll bring champagne too. And that caught the attention of Jamie Lee Curtis. And she acquired the rights to the book, and now they're making a movie out of it. And along with that, we travel around the world on a Free Mom Hugs tour, and we visit from state to state, and we have conversations with civic faith and business leaders. And we have a video, if I haven't talked too long, but we have a video from the first tour. We traveled in an RV and from Oklahoma City to the Stonewall Inn. And I traveled with my very dear friend, Laura Beth. Laura Beth is from the transgender community. And we have a video to share. Frank, if you're ready, let's go ahead and show it.
Walk with in a pride parade, and it said Free Mom Hugs, moms who love LGBT kids. And what we wanted to do by walking in the parade with that is just send a message to the community that we love them, and also to mothers. After the election, I just started hearing fear and anxiety from the community about the moms groups, and I just thought, well, what can I do? And I just felt like I heard a still small voice, if you will, say, well, you got that banner.
So we planned this tour, and we've talked with faith, civic, and business leaders about the value and importance of acceptance. We have talked with groups of mamas and dads about how to love and accept their LGBTQ kids. That was the vision, just to take the banners to where the people are that need the hugs, to take the message to where the people are that can start to fix the problems. So the Home for Hope is a 40-bed homeless shelter for LGBTQ people in Philadelphia. And Sarah, I mean, she just wanted to do something that connected, like something that her kids had always enjoyed, to make something that was there. So it wasn't just bringing in a boxes of pizza and eating, it was creating a meal and having that time in the kitchen and being a mom.
I think what Laura, Beth, and Sarah are doing is amazing, especially for a community where one of the most told stories is a family turning their back on them because of who they are or who they love. Anything with the word mom attached, just to have that female figure that would come in and cook a meal and offer you a hug and say, how are you doing, and show you that they're interested in whatever it's going on with you, even though it's for a very brief period, that touches an empty space inside of a lot of people in this community.
I came out as transgendered about 6 years ago. My mother had been fine with me being a lesbian, but being transgendered, she cut me off. She told me she would rather see me dead than see me transition, and she held a funeral for me. She invited all of my friends and family from back home.
I feel like I found family. I do. Sisters, brothers.
Some of them in here will even start to call me mom, or they'll call me auntie or something like that. And I know professionally and what they would consider ethical boundaries, I shouldn't allow them to do that. But it's hard to tell someone that you know hasn't received that kind of love. So when they start to call you that, you realize that it's because of the love you're showing them. And to know that someone hasn't ever had that kind of love before is hard. So it's very hard to try and tell someone no, under that circumstance.
Overall, people, they understand that there is damage being done. A lot of times, it's a simple matter of not knowing how to change. And to see these mama bears in particular come to a point where they not only get to be okay with it, but they become adamant defenders. I believed that I was the only person dealing with a gay child in the church, in the world, until I found these mamas online that were willing to talk about it. And not only online, but when we find each other online, we find each other in real life. And when we connect in real life with a group of mama bears, it's a very, very special, almost sacred moment.
One of the biggest reasons I came was to join the Free Moms Hug Tour because I knew Sarah and Laura Beth through my Facebook page. But it is one of the first times that I have openly let my son know how much I support him and how much I accept him openly. So I wanted him to know how much I love him and accept him, and just want him to realize that he's everything to me, and he's taught me how to be a better person, who he is more accepting of people in every way. Even though I did accept him, I'm a better person because he's gay. I guess. I mean, I really do. I really do feel like I'm a better human being because of this child that God gave me for me to grow.
I love that. I've seen it a million times, but it gets me every time. And lastly, I have to say that it took everything in me to leave that homeless shelter that day. But the way that I was able to leave them is that I knew that they had each other. That was a small community of people who depended on each other, who served each other, and just they had each other. And that's the only way that I could leave them without I cried like a baby when it was time to leave, but I knew they had each other. And so you have a very strong sense of community here. And lastly, I learned a new word recently. It's called Ubuntu. It's U-B-U-N-T-U. And it's from South Africa, and it means, it's a word for humanity that says, I am because of you. You are because of me. And what is in your best interest should be my best interest, and how we serve each other. And I just want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, and we're all connected. And when we can serve each other, we really do work to make the world a kinder, safer, more loving place for everyone. You can find Free Mom Hugs at freemomhugs.org. You can find a chapter in your state and just get plugged in, because when we can get back out there, we are going to hug and high five and need each other even more than ever. So thank you, Morning Star, for just being good fruit and for serving the community so well. And it's evident in your faces, in your expressions of love and your song. So I'm very thankful for you and your service. No, thank you. I think my time's up now.
Thank you, Sarah. I know many of us are still wiping tears and holding that lump of big-heartedness in our throat. And I am so incredibly moved with your depth, your incredible depth. And I have to tell you, Oklahomans can be the most friendly. And the fact that you are an ambassador, not only for unfettered love, but also for the friendliness of how we can be. And I thank you so much for pouring your heart and soul into this cause.
Well, thank you. I am glad that the movement started in Oklahoma. We're in the heartland, we're in the very center of the United States. And I like that too.
Yeah. So I know you'll stay around after the service for a little bit, but right now our awesome band has an amazing song just perfect for this time. So take it away, Frank.
Everything that your heart desires, everything that you really need, it's right inside of you. You need not look beyond the warmth of your own heart. It's all you need. Find it inside, in the world in reflection. Will give you whatever you're holding inside of you. Don't blame the world for the things that you cling to, but don't blame yourself for the things you can't change. Want a life full of magic and wonder, I wonder if that can be bought with your MasterCard. If you want a life full of goodness and gladness, the warmth of your own heart, the warmth of your own heart, the warmth of your own heart is all you need. It could feel so good. There's nothing to stop us. It's all within our reach. It's all in our hands. Let's agree that we'll agree and love one another. The warmth of our own hearts is all we need. The warmth of our own hearts. The warmth of our own hearts. The warmth of our own hearts is all we need. It's all we need.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a Daryl Clark original song, and it just is the most perfect touch for this poignant moment. Thank you, Morning Star, awesome band, Frank Lawrence, Daryl Clark, Jeffrey Birch, Ken Nicholas, and who else am I forgetting? Okay, maybe I'm not. I'm sorry. But anyway, the Morning Star, awesome band. Thank you, Sara Cunningham. You know, for us to continue to meet and to have Morning Star, even though we don't have a physical space, we still have expenses to meet. We still maintain our contributions to those agencies in the community that we're supporting right now. So there's two ways you can contribute. One is to mail a check, and we're going to put that screen up. There we go. Mail a check to the Morning Star Post Office Box 1511, Norman, Oklahoma, 73070. Or you can go to our website, morningstarcenter.org, and donate. You can use PayPal or credit card. And now Karen will unmute herself and she will read our offering prayer.
Recognizing God as the source of my supply, I joyously give of God's abundance, which is blessed and multiplied through me. And so it is.
And I want to thank everybody who continues to contribute to Morning Star. We continue to look ahead and see that in the future there's the possibility and the probability and the likelihood that we will reconvene in a physical space. But in the meantime, we're getting prepared to continue our Zoom meeting, and that allows us, your contributions allows us to invest in the equipment that we'll need to make all that possible. We have another incredible speaker next week, and I hope I'm saying his name right. It's Jeff Tretzven. So please come back and join us. The title of his talk is Spiritual Perspectives from an Aficionado of Nonviolent Communication. Jeff's interest in nonviolence, as demonstrated by Gandhi, prepared him to be open when he discovered nonviolent communication in 2006. He found that nonviolent communication was what was missing in many spiritual practices that promote being compassionate, loving, and kind, but don't tell you how to do it. After discovering NVC, Jeff participated in extensive training opportunities and has been teaching NVC ever since. He is currently involved in establishing a nonprofit organization whose mission is to teach NVC in prisons and to other underserved communities. Jeff will talk about how nonviolent communication is the missing link in spirituality. And he says NVC is how to demonstrate unconditional love in the way a person speaks. So nonviolent communication is helpful with understanding the process of creating our reality. So please come back next week, same time, same station, and join us for Jeff's talk. If you have other announcements, and would like to share them with the community, you can put something in our chat box, or you can post it in our private Norman Morning Star Facebook group. We always are looking for volunteers to help with the service. We need people who will read our prayers, as Karen is doing, people who will lead us in meditations also. So please contact myself or Mike Zorba or any of the other members of our community, or put your name in the chat box, and we will contact you to help you get set up so you can contribute to our service in that way. We really appreciate everyone who's here. And now Karen is going to read our prayer for protection. And by the way, I did put the link to the book, Free Mom Hugs, in the chat. So please go ahead and check that out in case, yes.
I think that's the wrong link. The title of the book is How We Sleep at Night, A Mother's Memoir. So just double check it, because I think it just flashed and now I don't know where to find it, but just note to self, I'm sure it's a very good book.
Okay, okay.
But
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So
Thank you.
How We Sleep at
thank
Night
you.
is her book. There is a book called Free Mom Hugs out there. How We Sleep at Night is her book.
I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Okay, so please, Karen, if you'll read our prayer for protection, and then we'll have the peace song to take us out.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and so it is.
Thank you, everybody. That is the end of our recording. Come back next week.